Beijing says it's sincere in wanting universal suffrage in the SAR. Water seepage problems at 3 West Island Line MTR stations. And search and rescue operation continues in the Mediterranean Sea.
Good evening. Vice President Li Yuanchao has told a group of pro-establishment politicians from Hong Kong that universal suffrage is the central government's sincere wish for the SAR. This as a New Territories Association of Societies visited the capital city to discuss Hong Kong's political reform with officials there. The Vice President met with his visitors at the Great Hall of the People this afternoon. He made a special point to stress that implementing universal suffrage for the 2017 chief executive election is the central government's sincere hope. Saying it's a shared wish of the majority of Hong Kong people, Li called on all sectors of the city to be proactive, rational and pragmatic in pushing forward political reform. Members of the New Territories Association of Societies, said Li, also quoted President Xi Jinping twice during the meeting. Chairman of the association, Chan Yong, said they were told Xi said the aim of universal suffrage is to help people live a stable and comfortable life, as well as to benefit Hong Kong's prosperity and the nation's development. Early in the day, the group met with Wang Guangya, the director of the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office. Chan quoted Wang as saying Beijing officials are very determined and confident and will work their hardest to give all Hong Kong voters a one-person, one-vote system. But he pointed out Wang was firm that principles already set for the electoral reform will not be changed. The association's honorary consultant, Starry Lee, who is also chairwoman of the Democratic Alliance for the Betterment and Progress of Hong Kong, suggested the state leaders meet with the SAR's legislators to help persuade the opposition camp to pass the reform package. The final package is expected to be unveiled this Wednesday. The association also said Wang believes Hong Kong people would be disappointed if the reform package fails to pass, and that this could be applied as pressure on opposition lawmakers.
A number of stations on the West Island Line are experiencing water leakage problems. But as Rani Samtani reports, the MTR Corporation says the issue will not affect the station structures.
The most serious damage can be seen at the lift lobby of Hong Kong University Station's Exit A. MTR workers have been continuously mopping the floor as water has been dripping from the ceiling. Over at Exit B, water stains can be seen on the walls. Water seepage problems have also been found at Kennedy Town Station and Sai Ying Poon Station. The MTR Corporation says water leakage is not uncommon, especially at the Hong Kong University Station, which is dozens of meters underground.
I must stress that the water leakage in the station definitely have no impact to the station structures, and we always have tried to put the priorities on the normal operation. So I can assure you that will not affect the train operation at all.
Lee denied the problem was caused by Russian construction work.
Possibly the leaks is from the construction joints, and definitely have no relation with the any progress of the works, because you know that even for every WIL station, our project teams have spent quite a long time to carry out the testing and commissioning works. It takes time to develop the leaks. So it's not a matter of the progress of the works.
The MTR Corporation said it is still assessing the extent of the leakage problem and will later decide if part of the station needs to be closed while they conduct repairs. MTR workers have placed signs at exits warning passengers to take precaution. This lady says the slippery floor is dangerous. She expressed hopes that the problem will get fixed soon. Another passenger says she believes there are water leakage problems because the project was rushed. Experts say if the issue isn't fixed soon, water leakage could get worse, especially during periods of heavy rain. Lai Tat-ming, technical director of Hong Kong Survey Limited, said the leakage began last Friday. He explained the Hong Kong University station has to withstand very high pressure from underground water. He added that the dripping water may be a result of improper waterproofing during construction. Raymond Chan, a former president of the Hong Kong Institute of Engineers, says grouting treatment is a common practice to fill in holes and cracks to prevent underground water seepage. Ronnie Samtani, TVB News.
Legislative Council President Zhang Yuxing said today he hopes the appropriation bill for the budget can be passed by June. It comes after Zhang announced he approved less than half of the amendments submitted by lawmakers. Evelina Leung reports.
3,904 amendments were submitted by lawmakers towards the appropriation bill, 3,342 of which were submitted by the League of Social Democrats Leung Kwok Hong. But only 63 of Leung's proposed amendments have been approved by LegCo President Zhang Yuxing. Zhang also said as a LegCo President, he has to strike a balance between lawmakers' right to submit amendments and ensuring that the Council operates effectively.
In my ruling last year, I made it very clear that if I find that the effect of a large number of amendments was only to prolong the time spent by the committee without leading to any meaningful debate, then I must rule those amendments frivolous and meaningless.
Leung Kwok Hong accused the LegCo President of discriminating against him. I don't see him turning down a large number of the other lawmakers' proposed amendments, he said. Leung also claimed Zhang had arranged to meet him to discuss the amendments he proposed. But before the meeting was supposed to take place, Zhang had already announced his decision to turn down a majority of Leung's submissions. But the Federation of Trade Unions Wong Kwok Hing called the president's decision an improvement. Like Zhang, Wong also believes that a lot of the proposed amendments are pointless, and lawmakers are simply using them to filibuster the appropriation bill. Evelyn Lang, TVB News.
A strong undersea earthquake struck between Taiwan and southern Japan today, sparking a house fire that killed a person outside of Taipei, while prompting Japanese authorities to evacuate several schools as a tsunami precaution. Today's magnitude 6.8 quake triggered a tsunami warning in Japan, which was lifted an hour after the tremor struck. In Taiwan, it caused buildings in Taipei to sway as people rushed onto the streets. Taiwan authorities said one person was killed in a house fire in the Taipei suburb of Xinjiang. The blaze was sparked by the explosion of an electricity transformer box. Well, European Union ministers are due to meet this week for urgent talks over the deaths of refugees crossing the Mediterranean from North Africa. Hundreds of people are believed to have died over the weekend when a boat carrying at least 700 migrants sank off the coast of Libya.
The European Union is slowly waking up to the fact that it has a real humanitarian crisis on its doorstep. Officials fear the worst after a boat carrying hundreds of refugees sank in the Mediterranean Sea over the weekend in what's been called Europe's deadliest migrant tragedy to date. Only a few dozen people were rescued yesterday and overnight. Those lucky enough to be saved by the Italian Coast Guard were brought to Malta or to the southern Italian island of Sicily. But hundreds upon hundreds are feared dead. Survivors said many were locked in holes below deck on a ship which was overloaded and only 20 meters in length.
I talked with the director of the hospital and says that this guy from Bangladesh, a very young guy, is pretty well now, and he's reporting that there were really many persons, including children on the boat. So he's confirming the terrible news.
This tragedy has raised the death toll to at least 1,500 so far this year, with the United Nations calling the human smuggling route from Libya to Italy the world's deadliest. With the scale of the tragedy now becoming clear, Italy's Prime Minister called for an emergency EU summit to come up with strategies to prevent people dying needlessly at sea. The EU's foreign policy chief also called for a common strategy.
Let me say that the main issue here is to build together a common sense of European responsibility on what is happening in the Mediterranean.
For a while, Europe had its so-called Mare Nostrum programme, a rescue operation to prevent tragedies like last weekend's. But it was stopped amid rising costs and concerns it only encouraged more migrants. Desperate people fleeing war, persecution and conflict in Africa, the Middle East and Asia have long tried to reach Europe. Libya has become a more frequent point of departure in the years since the country destabilised following the fall of Muammar Gaddafi. Italy has pledged to work with its European partners and the United States to stop human smugglers who traffic their cargo in appalling and dangerous conditions. But it still only treats a symptom of a problem which stems from the continued instability, poverty and unrest in regions where the economy is in ruins and local government cannot protect its citizens.
Yet another video has purportedly been released by Islamic State militants, showing what is said to be the executions of 28 Ethiopian Christians in Libya. As James Aitken reports, the video seems intended to show that the extremist group is expanding its reach.
A familiar production, a different setting.
We're back again.
With slick production values and an ominous tone, militants are seen marching a group of about 15 men said to be captured Ethiopian Christians along a beach. The captives, along with another similar group, are brutally murdered after the killers deliver their message.
You will not have safety, even in your dreams, until you embrace Islam.
The 29-minute video was posted Sunday on websites supporting Islamic State, and while it has not been independently verified, it bears the hallmarks of other Islamic State killing videos. Ethiopia said it had not been able to verify whether the people shown in the video were its citizens. Libya's foreign minister said he is appalled by what he calls barbaric killings.
This is not the first time that these hordes of ISIS do operate with these tragic and horrible actions in Libya. This calls upon the international community to help Libya further.
Dairy said Libya has already asked the United Nations to help equip the Libyan army to fight terrorism in the country. Islamic State militants have claimed several attacks on foreigners in Libya this year, including an assault on a hotel in Tripoli and the beheading of 21 Egyptian Christians in February. Those killings, which were also posted online, prompted Egypt's president to order airstrikes on Islamic State targets in Libya. It's not clear how many fighters it has in Libya, but the group is intent on growing its area by exploiting the chaos in the North African country since former dictator Muammar Gaddafi was ousted. Islamic State controls large parts of Iraq and Syria and wants to redraw the map of the Middle East. James Aitken, TVB News.
Two Cuban dissidents have become the first openly declared political opponents to contest an election on the island state. The pair didn't win their bid in elections for Havana's municipal assemblies, but the fact that they ran signals a softening stance against dissidents. The two ran in separate districts of the Cuban capital. They got on the ballot after a show of hands vote by neighbors last month.
And still ahead in our news tonight. ATV open to discussion with HKTV about cooperation plans. President Xi Jinping begins a visit to Pakistan. And a new species of glass frog discovered in Central America.
Next on Top Gear.
We can't go there, can we?
The three idiots go to
Chernobyl. Whoa, big spike.
And a supercar that's so hot.
Orange monster.
It's on fire. Tonight, All to Watch Company presents Top Gear at 9:30 on Pearl. Have our students become too politicized and unpatriotic? Michael Chugani talks to Executive Councillor Arthur Lee on Straight Talk, Tuesday night at 9 on Pearl.
Madonna, Rebel Heart, new album.